Hey Sud Squad! Today, Michelle is going to tell you what you need in a brand book.
Hello everyone, Michelle here. Today I'm going to be guiding you through the Bubble Factory guidelines and hopefully you can see how this can be applied to your brand. So the Bubble Factory guidelines that we have are actually pretty extensive and I want to make sure that we at least hit what the most important aspects of it and something that you can't miss from your brand book. Before you start developing any graphic elements for your brand, we want to make sure that you have at least defined a mission, a vision, a purpose, and even your core values. These 4 things are gonna help you take your brand in the correct path. Now, you might say, yeah, once I've defined my purpose, once I've defined my mission, once I know what my core values are, how can they help me graphically? How can they help me in my packaging? And I want to explain a little bit more about that. For example, at the Bubble Factory, one of our values is transparency. We believe that letting our customers know what is inside our soap and what our practices are is very important for us. So you're asking, like, how do you do this? Like, where are you showing that you're transparent? Well, not just in our copy, but also even through our packaging. Like, we make sure that when you grab one of our bars, you know that it's a cold processed soap bar, that it's made in the US, that it's palm oil free, and that it is at least 97% naturally derived. You would say, like, yeah, why did you say 97% naturally derived? Because actually, the all natural claim is not even regulated. So letting our customers know that our bars are at least 97% naturally derived is our way of being transparent. Like, yes, we have bars that are actually 100% naturally derived, like our patchouli mud bar, but in some of our bars we have to introduce fragrances that, yeah, there might not be 100% natural, but it's still a 97% natural bar. So just a quick side note, the reason why some of our bars are not 100% naturally derived is because we have to introduce fragrances that are lab created to bring you the scents that you enjoy. So now jumping into the graphic elements of the Bubble Factory brand. The Bubble Factory logo, for example, is a pretty simple logo. It's made out of a serif font because we wanted to make sure that we kept it clean, we kept it fresh, but still with that little bit of seriousness to show that we're committed to our practices. Now, it is important that you develop different variations of your logo because sometimes, depending on the application, the main logo won't fit, or you need a horizontal logo that works best for that application. Another important aspect of defining and developing your logo is to make sure that it is versatile enough to work with the different color combinations that you have in your color palette and that you can apply it to different applications, from social media to your website banner to even your packaging. Another important thing that you should always have in your brand book is a color palette. To define a color palette, you would want to have at least a primary color, an accent color, and a secondary color. For the Bubble Factory, we have the bubble teal as our main color, and you can see that the most throughout all of our brand applications. After that, we have our accent teal, and that one we use sparingly through highlights and important elements in our branding. The secondary colors are the ones that will give you a little bit more depth to your designs and will allow for more flexibility in your brand application. You always want to make sure that your primary colors, your accent colors, and your secondary colors work well when combining them and that they don't clash with each other. If this was the case, you want to make sure that even in your brand book, you specified that those colors should not be combined. And if you want to know more about color combinations, let me know in the comments. If you already have a color in mind that you like and you are not sure how to create a color palette from there, you can go through websites like Adobe Color. Adobe Color is an excellent tool that would help you create your color palette. If you have a color in mind, you can plug it in their site and it will give you a range of different options that go well with that one. And finally, the third most important thing that you should always have in your brand book is a typeface. For the Bubble Factory, we've defined a primary and a secondary typeface, but you don't necessarily need to do this. A primary typeface is the one that you use the most. It's the primary brand font and it's the one that you want to use for headlines and important elements. Our secondary typeface, for example, is Roboto because it is a very easy to read font and we are able to use it in paragraphs and longer text forms, and it works really well with print and digital applications. So you always want to make sure that the typeface that you use, the font that you choose, works well with the type of application that you're looking for. If it doesn't work well in your packaging, then maybe it's not the right typeface for you. Now, here's the golden rule of branding: consistency. You want to make sure that the color palette that you chose, the fonts that you chose, and even your logo is consistent across all brand applications. This will ensure that your brand is recognized by your customers wherever they find you and build loyalty and trust among your target audience. Another thing to remember is that your brand isn't set in stone. If you feel that the branding that you have doesn't really represent you, you can always rebrand yourself and make sure that the brand grows with you and with what your purpose and your mission is. In a nutshell, brand and brand identity isn't just about making your brand look good. It's about making sure that you create those meaningful connections with your target audience. So keep it simple, keep it friendly, and keep building that connection with your target audience. Alright everyone, I hope this was helpful, and if you have any other questions, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to include the answers to them in a future video. Thank you for watching, and remember, lather wins profit.